Right, what we have here is a Samsung Galaxy S3 running Android version 4.1.1. In other words, Android Jelly Bean. That's right, just yesterday we got Android Jelly Bean. What I've been asking, I'm sure what you're asking is, where is Google Now? Initially I thought that Google Now wasn't available on the Galaxy S3 due to their proprietary TouchWiz UX interface put on it. I was wrong. It is very much available. However, you need to have an active network connection to run Google Now. So the small tab there, normal Google search, that is your Google Now tab. Notice that nothing is showing up at the moment because there is no active network connection. Two things I'm going to teach you, yeah? Well, initially two things, and I'm going to take you to the ins and outs of Google Now. One is that notice in the top right hand corner there's a small microphone. Yes, you can substitute Samsung Galaxy S voice for the Google Now voice search. And two is one of my most recent searches, blogger of course, because I'm a well-known blogger, GameTrend.net if you don't know about me, is that Google Now looks at what your last searches are. And of course I'm quite excited about Google Now because I want to see as many features as possible. So I've got everything set up and running on my phone at the moment. Everything from GPS to Wi-Fi to the mobile data connection, which unfortunately I'm using tonight, so I can't show you any of the cards that Google Now has got. The keyboard's shut down, so what you would be seeing now is, if Google Now had learned anything from me, is basically a card, information cards that Google gives you. It's push information as opposed to pull information, i.e. Google will actually give you this information when they think you need it, not when you ask for it. Now, what I want to teach you though is the settings of Google Now, because there's various things that can be displayed by Google Now. So let's go into the settings. Right, let's go into, primarily you need to be concerned with the Google Now voice, Google Now searches. Notes that's my email account that's logged onto there. Now, Google Now can display a variety of things, from the weather to nearby places to your favourite sports team scores or to when they're playing. The idea behind Google Now, let's choose sports for example, and it explains quite self-explanatory. The card appears before a game, during a game and after a game. I haven't yet put any teams up on there. I'm actually a Manchester United fan, football-wise. If I was to put a team up there, I'd put Manchester United up there. Now, theoretically, next time Manchester United plays before the game, Google Now a card from Google Now would actually appear telling me that my team's about to play. If I told it that during game I wanted a card to appear, that a card would appear, I'm guessing at half time, with the current score, and then after the game, a card would appear telling me how my team got on. Let's see if we can change the settings for teams. There you go, simple tick list, before a game, during a game and after a game, and Google Now will actually basically show you what's going on with your team. Other settings wise, all the cards can have a priority attached to them. For sports games we're looking at low priority or off are the two priorities. The other one I've seen is traffic. In fact, let me show you the traffic one, because if you are a commuter, then Google Now can be very, very useful for you. There we go, at the top there, traffic. Before commute, from home, and all the other good settings that it's got there. Now, theoretically what Google Now can do for you, if you're an Android owner, is it can decide when you're going to go to work. How it's supposed to work is Google Now will learn your routes to and from work. If you, for instance, go upon a regular route, it will learn that and then will give you these info cards depending upon the different settings you have inputted into it. Like I say, I've only been running Google Now for the last 2 days, so it hasn't yet learnt my local commute. When it does, hopefully, these cards will start to display for me. Now, we talked about priorities earlier on. For traffic, if there's unusually high traffic, you can have a standard card, a low priority card, or an off card. What that means is basically the frequency of the cards, how frequently these cards will show up. Now, you can go into settings, and in your settings you can change if there's a notification chime or vibration every time one of these cards appears. I've only had one card appear so far. Quite unusually, I was sat in a restaurant earlier on today, or more like a work canteen, so it's quite a poor food. And somehow Google now realised I'd like to think they at least realised there was bad food, and up popped a card once it connected to the Wi-Fi network, and that showed the location of a nearby fancy restaurant. Now, why they showed that? Perhaps it was a plug for the restaurant, perhaps they actually realised I sat in a bad eatery, and up popped that Places card. There you go, there, Places card. A card appears when nearby places. Like I say, I like to believe in the power of Google technology, so I like to say they showed that card because I was actually quite hungry and wanted some decent food. So, takeaways from this. There's lots of settings you can use in Google Now. It needs an active network connection, and it learns from what you do. There you go, no cards yet at the moment. It's only been running for 2 days, Google Now, so no cards are actually showing up at the moment. The only cards I've had show up are weather cards, and like I say, that card for a fancy restaurant nearby. I don't normally run all my functions on the phone, like GPS, Wi-Fi, etc., because the battery tends to run down quite quickly if you do that. Although, bearing in mind, it's a Galaxy S3, so they're quite renowned for good battery life. But at the moment, I'm running all the functions on the phone because I want Google Now to learn my local commute. I want Google Now to start giving me these cards because it's a very exciting feature, Google Now. However, it learns from you. So at the moment, these exciting things exist in potentia and not in actuality. But over the next few days, couple of weeks, we'll see how far Google Now can take you with your Android phone. I'm Game Trend from GameTrender.net. I hope you've enjoyed this introduction to Google Now on your Android phone.